But if he actually knew of the affair, that's for the jury to decide. A reminder, today is only going to be a half day of testimony. In Dedham, I'm Penny Kmitt, WBZ News.
You can watch half the day of the Brian Walshe trial live right here on CBS News Boston. You can also find it on Pluto TV. Well, that nationwide botulism outbreak linked to contaminated infant formula has now sickened 2 babies here in Massachusetts. WBZ's Anna Myler is live in studio now with what caregivers need to know to keep babies safe. Anna?
Well, Paula, the state health department would not share where those children live or what stores their formula came from, but they continue to warn parents and caregivers not to use By Heart baby formula. Last month, the Food and Drug Administration sounded the alarm over By Heart baby formulas, and the company recalled their entire line. But the FDA warned this week that some Targets, Walmarts, Shaw's, and Kroger's still had the products on their shelves. 39 babies in 18 states have been diagnosed, with testing ongoing. 2 cases are now confirmed here in Massachusetts. Botulism is caused by bacteria, often from soil or food, that ultimately impacts the nervous system. Symptoms can take several days to several weeks to appear. They include poor feeding, loss of head control, difficulty swallowing, and decreased facial expressions.
A lot of babies with infant botulism that is severe will need to be in the hospital. Oftentimes will need to be intubated and using a kind of breathing machine to keep them alive. And that can last for weeks, sometimes even months.
Babies with botulism must be treated quickly to stop symptoms from progressing to paralysis and breathing difficulties. Anyone with this formula should throw it out or bring it back to the store for a refund, and thoroughly wash any surfaces or any items that the formula has come into contact with. Paula?
Anna Myler, thank you. It's an exciting day for soccer fans. The World Cup draw takes place at noon in Washington. We'll find out who the United States will play. Now, Gillette Stadium is one of the 16 host sites for next summer's tournament. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says about 6 million fans are expected, and work is underway to ensure that they are safe and the transit goes smoothly.
A lot of people are going to travel by airplane between the host cities. We are clearing the skies, clearing the decks, making sure air travel is going to be seamless. The FAA is already working on that.
Well, match schedules will be announced on Saturday and will include the teams playing in the 7 games in Foxborough. Netflix has triumphed in the bidding war for Warner Brothers. It was announced this morning that Netflix reached a deal with Warner Brothers Discovery to buy the legendary TV and movie studio for $72 billion. Warner Brothers Discovery is moving forward with its plans to split into 2 publicly traded halves in 2026. And once the split takes effect, Netflix intends to acquire the Warner half. The other half, Discovery Global, will house CNN and other cable channels. A combination of Netflix, Warner Brothers, and HBO will require intense regulatory review in the U.S. and other countries. Just ahead this morning on CBS News Boston, police helped a lost horse hoof it back home in the freezing cold.
WBZ's Next Weather Alert is brought to you by Safety Insurance.
Welcome back, everybody. Less than 3 weeks from the Christmas holiday here, and seems like winter is setting up shop well in advance. Let's talk about the lighter winds that we have on deck here in the coldest air of the season, going back to February, okay? We'll have a range of sub-zero wind chills to single digits out there again this morning. Feels like about 3 degrees in the city of Boston as of right now. Lower 20s out in the Cape and even the islands there, but still sub-zero west of 495 north and south of the Mass Pike again this morning. Average daytime high is about 46 degrees for this time of year, 32 for morning low. The record for today, 70, doesn't sound half bad to me if you ask me. 2 degrees is the record morning low for today. As we're looking at temperatures across the area as of right now, 15 to 20 degrees colder from 24 hours ago, and yesterday was already cold enough. We can thank these northerly winds behind that front that blew through the region yesterday evening. So the cold danger that we have on deck for us today here, friends, poses a high risk for frostbite. Again, likely exposed skin could sustain some frostbite within about 30 minutes. So dressing in layers, again, is an extra sort of a PSA for you here on this Friday morning. Those wind chills will likely remain in the mid to upper teens as we head into the afternoon. The cold air will be retreating, but only for a short period of time. More of those freezing temperatures will move in overnight tonight, along with some clouds. These clouds are actually going to be on the north side of a winter storm system affecting the nation's capital this morning. Most of that activity winds down later into the afternoon. A couple of spot showers possible, maybe a few extra flakes possible around morning to midday for us on our Saturday. And then as we set the stage for more sunshine and also just a little bit of a warmer air as we move towards Sunday, another Arctic front will actually be moving into the region between Sunday night and Monday. So it feels like temperatures in the hour by hour as we set foot into the afternoon, stopping the clock around 3:30 will feel like about 20 degrees, 19 to be exact. And then we're going back into the teens overnight tonight, and look at the central and also the northern Mass region going back into the teens and even the upper teens as we wake up for tomorrow morning. South winds will be taking over for tomorrow, which is why we're going to have our temperatures going into the upper 30s for tomorrow, as opposed to today. We're likely going to remain in the upper 20s across the vast majority of southern New England. Teens on deck for overnight tonight. Feels like temperatures back into the single digits as we wake up for tomorrow morning. It has been a very sort of memorable start to the not only meteorological winter that began on Monday for December 1st, but also the first few days of December have all been below average. We're going to add another day to that today, tomorrow, on Sunday, to Monday, to Tuesday. So it's definitely going to be a very colder than average start to the December of 2025. And long term, the next week to 2 weeks will likely remain below average, unfortunately, again. So it seems like it's going to be a long winter, one might argue. We're back colder as we set foot into early next week. Upper 20s for us on Monday for afternoon highs. Near single digits as we wake up on Tuesday morning. Obviously another day of feeling a sub-zero across the board there. 40s, not that far away, but also not too close. Between Wednesday and Thursday of next week, some wet weather is moving in. But again, we'll take the lower 40s while we can get them.
A Connecticut man is now under arrest accused of torching a Boston police cruiser during a street takeover in the city of Boston. Police say 19-year-old David Moran is accused of using fireworks to ignite the cruiser during the October takeover. He was arrested in Norwalk, Connecticut, and he'll eventually face a Boston judge. Officers say it took a lot of video evidence from nearby businesses to identify him.
You can't come to Boston and think you're going to be involved in criminal behavior and it's going to be tolerated. We will not do it. You're going to be held accountable, and this is a perfect example of people being held accountable.
2 other men from Rhode Island have also been arrested in relation to that takeover. A runaway horse is back home safe this morning after a wild escape. Police in Bedford, New Hampshire responded to reports about a horse wandering around near a Domino's Pizza. This is just off Route 1 early Wednesday. One of the officers was able to get a hold of the horse and eventually walked him over a mile in 20-degree weather to get him back home. Well, it is Snowport week here on WBZ all week long. We've been showcasing all of the food and the fun the holiday market has to offer. But this morning, Levin is there live, introducing us to the Berkeley music student set to share his talent at tonight's Snowport tree lighting.
In his final year at Berkeley College of Music, songwriter, producer, and singer Lloyd Childs is staying busy.
I'm just really keeping my reach open and just exercising every creative muscle that I can right now. Let's try one up, one down.
His current project, a new album.
I'm baby just like you.
Recording in an independent studio just outside of the city. He's putting the finishing touches on one of the tracks.
So when that entire outro is put together.
After graduation, he's headed to LA to take his career to the next level.
It's really the community that's out there, and there's a lot of opportunity out there.
But he won't be leaving Boston in the rear view.
The community here, I really find what I really appreciate about the Dorchester area, about the Mattapan area, about even the Back Bay area is that the musicians here, they really look out for each other. They really want to see each other win, especially in the Black communities. They really want to see each other win. And I really want to bring that with me in LA.
Before he gets there, he's shifting into the holiday spirit.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at your nose.
As he gets ready to take the main stage at Light Up Seaport.
I'm doing lots of lip trills. I'm doing lots of ginger shots.
It's his second time performing at the holiday market, and he expects it to be packed with emotion.
It's a place filled with joy, you know? I can only imagine that it's going to be even more magical than my last performance at Snowport.
And that moment might be just the start of something very special.
Maybe just like you. And that's how we compose a song.
Hey, Paula, as you can see, the main stage is all set up, and it'll just be Lords and his guitarists up there. It won't be like a group of 7 where they can dance back and forth, but the energy will be fantastic, and as you got a chance to listen to him, his voice is absolutely wonderful.
Great voice, and I love how they have that stage up high on top of the bar area, so there isn't a bad seat. Everybody will be able to watch. So much fun. Levin, thank you. Go get some hot chocolate.
Yes.
You warm up.
Okay, thank you.
And if you don't want to brave the cold tonight, stay warm at home and watch us help light up the seaport. It is Boston's biggest tree, by the way. It all kicks off tonight at 7 on WBZ. Just ahead this morning on CBS News Boston, the Boston landmark getting a makeover and a new home.
WBZ's Snowport Week coverage is sponsored by Honda. Contact your local Honda dealer for a great deal today. You're watching WBZ News.
The city of Chelsea is taking on fire truck manufacturers. They are filing a class action lawsuit claiming that firefighting truck companies have teamed up, sharing data to artificially inflate prices and limit the production of trucks. The city says prices have nearly doubled from a decade ago, and it takes almost 4 times as long for orders to be complete. The Citgo sign is going to be lighting up the skyline from a different spot with a slightly new look. Kenmore Square leaders outlined their plan yesterday, saying the sign will come down piece by piece. Some parts will be replaced or refurbished, and then when it's put back up, 120 feet east and 30 feet higher. This is all part of a project to build a 7-story office building right next to Fenway Park.
The sign has stood as both a beacon of Kenmore Square and a beloved symbol of Boston. And moving the sign is an important milestone for this community because it is about preserving an iconic sign, and it is also a reflection of a shared commitment to the future of this neighborhood.
But officials say the sign will need to go dark at times during the relocation. Coming up next, Hollywood's back in Massachusetts. We'll show you the show, shooting more scenes in and around Worcester.
You're watching WBZ News.
It was lights, camera, action in Worcester as the cast and crew of the Walking Dead spin-off series Dead City filmed some new episodes there yesterday. Several streets in downtown Worcester were closed off and transformed into a post-apocalyptic New York. Frozen zombies. Well, it is an unusual sight for Massachusetts, but another tropical bird has been spotted in the area, and this time it's this crane-like bird called a limpkin. Scientists say this bird doesn't normally travel north of Florida, but the bird's been spotted by more than a dozen bird watchers in Scituate, of all places. Researchers from the Manomet Conservation Sciences Group says that it was first spotted November 30th and last seen Wednesday. They aren't really sure how it ended up here, but they say it could be because of global warming or recent storms.
Anti-clockwise winds, and if you're flying around in Florida for some foolish reason, you might just get dumped up into Nova Scotia or possibly Scituate, Massachusetts, but we don't really know.
Experts say the same thing might have happened to that flamingo who we saw that ended up on the Cape last year. Still to come in our next half hour, an MBTA stop gets a new name thanks to a bored teenager. How his change on Google turned into an official part of the map.
Now, streaming on CBS News Boston, WBZ News Mornings continues with your top stories.
Weather top story this morning, dangerous cold weather setting foot across southern New England. Right now on CBS News Boston, we'll talk about the frostbite risks for the region today, along with these cold dangers.
Plus, clarity and lingering questions about the deadly strike on an alleged drug boat. We'll hear the differing reactions from lawmakers. And we're following up on that push to lower property taxes for Boston homeowners. Welcome back. I'm Paula Eben. We're in a weather alert for this dangerous cold. Let's get a check of our next weather forecast with Jason Michael. It sounds as though we might get just a little bit of relief and then go right back to the single digits.
Right back again. Weather roller coaster continuing again, Paula, on this Friday morning. Here's a bit of illusion outside here. A gorgeous sunrise again. We'll have a lot of sunshine again greeting us later today, but the wind chills, my goodness, are suffering again this morning. We were down to -10 over in Worcester earlier this morning, down to -3 in the city of Boston. So frostbite will actually be a major risk for the next 24 to 36 hours as we try to get these surface temperatures to warm up above the freezing mark, actually topping out in the mid to upper 30s for tomorrow. So that's the relief. Short-term relief that we're actually going to be talking about. So again, frostbite could actually be a major risk for any exposed skin there within about 15 to 20 minutes, maybe even upwards of about 30 minutes, depending on what exactly is exposed. But we actually have temperatures sizably cooler from 24 hours ago, 15 to 20 degrees colder to be exact. So these winds are the cause for all this colder air moving on in. We had that Arctic front that moved through yesterday evening hours, sparking off a couple of snow showers, snow squalls. We had some warnings there around 2 p.m. yesterday afternoon. And as we look at a lot of the temperatures outside again this morning here, current wind chills at 3 degrees in the city there, 2 degrees it feels like in Bedford, 0 in Lawrence, 20 over in P-Town, the islands there between about 10 to 15 degrees it feels like there. -8, it still feels well below 0 down over in Worcester County. We should be around 46 degrees for this time of year, 32 for a morning start there. We're not going to be that way tomorrow. nor today, perhaps even not even on Sunday. We'll talk much more about this 7-day forecast and this weather roller coaster, Paula, coming up.
Well, there's a bit of clarity, but still lingering questions this morning after members of Congress were briefed on that controversial second military strike on a suspected drug boat near Venezuela. Lawmakers are scrutinizing the role that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth played in the attack, which was ordered by a Navy admiral who spoke to lawmakers. Yesterday, CBS News correspondent Jared Hill reports from New York.
Peppered with questions on Capitol Hill.
Do you accept responsibility for the incident, sir?
U.S. Navy Admiral Frank Mitch Bradley told lawmakers behind closed doors that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth did not issue an order to kill them all, as reported in the Washington Post, regarding this military strike on an alleged drug boat. But after watching for the first time the controversial second hit, Democrats held on to concerns.
What I saw in that room was one of the most troubling things I've seen in my time in public service. You have two individuals in clear distress, without any means of locomotion, with a destroyed vessel, who were killed by the United States.
Two survivors shipwrecked after the first strike were killed in the second, prompting questions about whether that attack was legal. Some Republicans argue it was justified.
I saw two survivors trying to flip a boat loaded with drugs bound for the United States back over so they could stay in the fight. And potentially, given all the context we heard, of other narco-terrorist boats in the area coming to their aid.
Democrats are now pushing for Admiral Bradley to testify publicly. Jared Hill, CBS News.
A restaurant at a New Hampshire country club has reopened months after a deadly shooting there. Prime at Sky Meadow welcomed customers back yesterday for the first time since the September 20th shooting that left one person dead and two others injured. A former employee is now facing charges and awaiting trial. Cities and towns across the state are seeing some drops in school enrollment, which could create problems for the children left in school. Framingham, for instance, is reporting a loss of 640 students since October of 2024. Superintendent Robert Tremblay says that is essentially the equivalent of an entire school population. He believes part of the drop is due to the city's large immigrant population, many of whom have decided to leave the area.
And some have relocated to other communities in the Commonwealth, but many have not returned back to the United States, having, likely for fear of deportation or whatever may come of the concerns that our immigrants are facing.
Well, school funding is based on enrollment, so these drops in population will translate into less money for schools in years to come. A federal vaccine advisory panel is set to vote this morning on a possible change to the guidelines for when babies should receive the hepatitis B vaccine. It was supposed to vote yesterday, but that was delayed after an hours-long meeting filled with what some advisors called misinformation and conflict about whether the hepatitis B vaccine should be given to newborns. The committee advises the CDC, and its members were all appointed by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. after the previous entire panel quit in protest of his appointment. Kennedy is a longtime anti-vaccine activist. Well, this morning, Mayor Wu is set to share more about Boston's latest push to try to lower property taxes for homeowners ahead of a major hike. Mayor Wu and other city officials want to put a new plan in place which would prevent property taxes from going up by as much as 13% next year. She told WBZ that state law shifts taxes over to residents when commercial values drop, giving those commercial property owners a multi-million-dollar tax break that then homeowners have to make up. Wu is hoping to convince state senators to push a stalled bill forward that would put the cost back on commercial properties.
It's the same exact solution that Mayor Menino put in place 20 years ago when there was a similar issue. It worked, it was temporary, and it protected residents while also stabilizing everything for our businesses as well.
Now, the mayor says if the tax hike is approved, it would be the 8th year in a row it's gone up by more than 5%. She will detail her plan to prevent it from impacting residents at a press conference at 9:30 this morning. A teenager's pandemic pastime may rewrite the MBTA maps. In Chestnut Hill, Off of Independence Drive, there's a short little stretch of driveway that had no name. That is, until a teenager went to work and he told WBZ's Aaron Parsegian even he was surprised by the results.
This is just an unassuming small road tucked behind a Chestnut Hill apartment complex. It's so insignificant, it didn't have a name until it did.
I saw that there was an unnamed street. I kind of always known this because we drove past it a lot.
Brendan Libby, now a senior at Brookline High, was familiar with this street when boredom struck during the height of the pandemic, and the then 14-year-old had an idea.
Google had a feature where you could edit streets and suggest stuff like that. Without thinking, tried to change it to something.
A history buff, Libby dubbed it Moranville Street, named after early 20th century baseball Hall of Famer Walter Rabbit Moranville, a Springfield native who won the 1914 World Series with the Boston Braves. To Libby's surprise, the street name was approved on Google Maps.
Which I thought was cool in and of itself, but I didn't think too much of it until like a year later in like 2022.
Things didn't get real until he hopped on the 51 bus heading to a physical therapy session. That's when he heard what was a family joke take on a whole new meaning.
Independence Drive at Moranville Street.
They pronounced it, and I kind of got jump scared. The bus name had actually been changed.
In a statement, the MBTA tells WBZ their planning team does consult Google Maps to update bus stop names, and this stop and one across the street had their names updated to include the Moranville Street moniker during the summer 2022 service changes.
I was pretty shocked.
It's something Libby has sat on for years until he made this Reddit post that recently exploded in interest and accolades.
I wasn't intending to get famous by this at any point. I just thought it would be a cool story to share. But now that I think people took it kind of seriously, I've kind of been leaning into that.
With an online legion of Moranville Street enthusiasts, his next move, petitioning the city of Boston to put a street sign here.
If we could get one address changed to Moranville Street, that's the goal.
In Chestnut Hill, Aaron Parsegian, WBZ News.
A Waltham postal worker is going the extra mile, spreading some holiday cheer at his post office. Take a look. The worker created this reindeer using only shipping and packaging material. It's sitting right there in the lobby as customers come and go, sending out their holiday gifts. Still to come on CBS News Boston, a fifth grader being honored for his work helping people in need. And Jordan Jagalinzer has you covered for festive cold weather fun in this week's to-do list.
We made it to December, get in on the holiday spirit with a magical tradition happening all month long in Charlestown.
Winterfest 2025 returns to Hood Park, transforming into a family-friendly winter wonderland. Enjoy tasty treats, sparkling lights, rides, carnival-style games, and an après ski lounge. Santa will even be there for weekend visits. Don't miss it Saturday and Sunday, next weekend, and December 19th to the 30th. The event will close for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Check off your gift list with a winter sip and stroll. Head to Kingston Collection Saturday in Kingston from 12 to 4 and shop from nearly 200 local vendors. With food trucks, live music, drinks to sip on while you shop, face painting, and more, it's the perfect way to finish that holiday shopping. Plant lovers, this one's for you. Get in on one of Marlborough's most festive traditions with the Marlborough Garden Club. Saturday, shop festive wreaths, green arrangements for your home, and lots of holiday decor and gift baskets. The fun takes place from 9 to 11 at Whitcomb Middle School.
For more on these events and other news, head to our website, WBZ.com. I'm Jordan Jagalinzer, and that's this week's to-do list.
WBZ is sponsored by Citizens. Make sense of your money.
Tumbling temperatures as we wake up on a Friday morning, everybody. Behind that Arctic front that moved through the region yesterday afternoon, it also caused a few extra snow showers across the area with snow squall warnings by midday yesterday. Northerly winds have taken over across the region there. Dew point temperatures are dry as a bone, and we don't have any sort of precip on deck for us today. Temperatures are feeling like single digits across the area here, certainly south on Route 3 and also Route 6 getting out towards the Cape and the Islands. Teens and even lower 20s, it feels like there. Even the south coast is suffering down towards the Portsmouth region as of right now, down towards Newport, Rhode Island, and even up areas north. We're also suffering again this morning. Negative sub-zero temperatures are happening across Worcester County again this morning, feeling like -8 degrees over in Worcester. We should be averaging around 46 degrees for this time of year. The record is 70 degrees. The morning low average is about 32 degrees, right on the nose of the freezing mark there. The record, it's 2 degrees for this day in the year. We have south winds moving into the region later today, so we're kind of going to take these feels like temperatures out of the single digits and move them into the double digits later today, but only topping out around 20 degrees. It'll feel like they're maybe climbing a little bit higher as we get into the overnight hours as well. That's because more clouds are actually going to be moving on in along with these south winds. We have some moderating temperatures on deck for us tomorrow, so it feels like temperatures to be back into the upper 20s and lower 30s. Still cold, COLD nonetheless. Forecast highs for today across the vast majority of the region will be in the upper 20s and lower 30s. Those 30s will likely be out towards the Cape and even the islands later today. With those clouds moving in within the next 24 to 36 hours, that's actually because of a winter storm down in the D.C. area. It avoids the New England territory, but it still actually will cause a couple spot showers for tomorrow and maybe a couple spotty flakes. Back clear as we wake up on Sunday morning. We have a beautiful sunrise on Sunday morning. Still cold nonetheless. With these forecast lows tonight, we're going to be back into the teens widespread there. And even the month of December, kind of memorable if you ask me. We've had below average temperatures over the past 4 days or so. We'll have day number 5 today, day number 6 tomorrow, and day number 7 for us on Sunday. And even into Monday, it'll definitely mark day number 8 as well. And even the long-term outlook is placing below average temperatures across the vast majority of the I-95 corridor north of D.C. That'll likely take us into right around Christmas time, okay? That jet stream is well off to the south, hundreds of miles to the south as of right now. So we're leaving the back door open for all this Arctic plunge of air coming in with a little bit of a notch of that polar vortex. You may have heard about that. It's kind of following that thread as well. We've actually had a bit of a drier start to the month here. Obviously, we've been just still dealing with a bit of a dry slot there over the past few weeks or so. That'll likely continue at least through the end of the month. They're only showing a slight uptick in terms of precip chances there over the next few days. So looking out here as the 7-day forecast rolls out, we are expecting a bit of a bump up in terms of temperatures. Not a whole lot, though. We're back cool as we look towards Monday of next week with daytime highs struggling to exit the 20s. Single digits as we wake up on Tuesday morning, lower 40s in the afternoon by Wednesday and Thursday, with another threat of some wintry weather and maybe just a little bit of rain with temperatures well above the freezing mark by midweek.
We have some great news to share about our youngest WBZ changemaker. He's a 5th grader who's raising money and awareness to address housing insecurity, doing something he loves. As WBZ's Lisa Hughes tells us, Philanthropy Partners of Cape Cod and the Islands just named him Philanthropist of the Year.
In a room full of adults, 10-year-old Adrian Umer got a standing ovation.
I felt really proud and excited.
Proud, excited, and surprised.
I was floored.
His mom, Melissa, got the call he was nominated in July.
The funniest part was I told him after, I was like, someone just called and said you were nominated for the Philanthropist of the Year award. And he said, what's a philanthropist?
I'm glazing it a second time so the glaze gets in the rice.
Adrian whipped up his idea for a way to give back in the kitchen. He runs Loco Dos, his summer pop-up restaurant from his home in Brewster, creating the menu, taking orders for pickup online, and cooking all the dishes. He donates his profits to the Homeless Prevention Council.
How do you feel now that you're doing something about it?
I feel really good.
What would you say to a young person who would like to follow in your footsteps?
First, put some of your thought into what you love doing. Just take that, start doing whatever it is, and setting it, and doing what you want to do with the money, like donating it, per se, and that would make you feel really good and happy and proud.
Adrian's already considering what he'll serve next summer to support that work.
What do you hope to do?
I hope to raise a lot of money for HPC and CDP and maybe other nonprofits eventually. And I hope everyone enjoys the food.
Lisa Hughes, WBZ News.
To sports, the Bruins and Celtics both back in action last night and both had impressive wins. Let's start with the Green, who had to do it without Jaylen Brown, out with a non-COVID illness. It's the first game he's missed all season. Jordan Walshe made game-winning plays down the stretch on Tuesday night. He made big plays all game long in this one. He had a career-high 22 points. On 8 for 8 shooting, Derek White had his best game of the year, a season-high 30 with 7 boards and 9 assists, and he didn't even play in the fourth quarter. But that's when the Green really blew things open. Peyton Pritchard for 3. He had 20 points. So the Celtics win it by 45, 146-101 the final. The 6-5 Lakers come into the Garden tonight. Hopefully Jaylen Brown will be feeling better for that one. Bruins hosting St. Louis at the Garden, and the Blues head coach Jim Montgomery's first trip back to Boston since the Bees fired him in November of 2024. Alex Steeves continues to fill in for David Pastrnak on the top line, continues to score like him too. His 5th goal in the last 5 games. Bees took a 1-0 lead. And speaking of hot scorers, how about Morgan Geekie? His 4th in the last 4 games, 21st of the season. So the Bees led it 2-0 after 1, and they kept it rolling in the second. Pavel Zacha scored his 2nd of the night with 0.2 seconds to go in the period, and the Bees win it 5-2. They host the Devils on Saturday night. The Red Sox adding to their pitching staff this offseason. Let's think spring. Boston acquired right-handed starter Johan Oviedo and 2 minor leaguers from the Pirates in exchange for outfielder Jostinson Garcia and a minor leaguer. In 67 starts over 5 big league seasons, the 27-year-old Oviedo is 13-26 with a 4.39 ERA. Patriots news, and Travion Henderson was named NFL Rookie of the Month for November. The Pats' second-round pick rushed for 330 yards and a 5.1 average. He had 2 long TD runs against the Bucs, had a 3-touchdown game against the Jets. And Hunter Henry is the Patriots' nomination for the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award, which recognizes players who excel not only on the field but are committed to making a positive impact beyond the game. He and his wife Parker are passionate advocates in the fight against human trafficking and slavery around the world. The winner will be announced on February 5th. And we'll have 2 more state championship games tonight on TV 38 and CBS News Boston. Foxborough and Shawshene Tech for the Division 5 title at 5. Then North Attleboro and King Philip for the Division 3 crown at 7:45. Coming up in the 9 a.m. hour, it's day 5 in the murder trial of Brian Walshe, the Cohasset man accused of killing his wife Anna. We will be streaming that live on CBS News Boston throughout the morning. Stay tuned. Good morning. It's 8:53. I'm Paula Eben. Meteorologist Jason Michael is here with our next weather forecast. Bitter cold out there, and we're not going to get much relief.
I feel like I'm leading people on this Friday here. We got a lot of beautiful sunshine outside, and even though temperatures climb well into the 20s later today, they'll still likely feel like the upper teens as we head into the afternoon, unfortunately, here, friends. Clouds likely raking into the region overnight tonight. That's mainly because of a winter storm happening down in the nation's capital again this morning. A couple extra spot showers for us tomorrow afternoon on the north side of this storm system, and maybe a few extra flakes moving on in. We'll have a bit of sunshine and also a few extra clouds arriving for us here by the time we get to Sunday. Daytime highs both days of the weekend will be in the mid to upper 30s across the area. And then another frontal boundary will move south into the region there, keeping our daytime highs on Monday despite sunshine into the mid to upper 20s, still feeling like the teens into the afternoon. Single digits on deck for us as we wake up on Tuesday morning around the freezing mark into the afternoon. A little bit warmer as we move from Tuesday to Wednesday as well. We have a couple systems that we're actually watching next week could actually cause a few extra flakes, maybe a couple spot shower chances there. So we'll be back into the lower 40s by Wednesday as well as on Thursday. But again, extra reminder to everybody, protect also the exposed skin. Frostbite will be a major factor through the weekend, especially with a lot of these overnight lows there. Paula?
All right, Jason, thanks so much. Looking at drive times, it's a really classic work from home Friday, especially in this cold. I don't think people want to head outside, so all the roadways are looking pretty good. It is a half day of court today in the murder trial of Brian Walshe. Here are your top stories. Yesterday, the man who had an affair with Anna Walshe was on the stand and told jurors she spoke kindly about Brian before her death, saying that she wanted to be the one to tell her husband about the affair. The defense argued she never made a concrete plan to do so. Also yesterday, prosecutors questioned a fitness instructor who taught Anna in a class within a day of her death in an effort to chip away at the defense theory that Anna died suddenly. And 2 cases of infant botulism have now been confirmed here in Massachusetts as the result of contaminated baby formula by the company ByHeart. 39 babies in 18 states have been sickened. Last month, the company recalled the entire line, but the FDA is warning this week some Targets, Walmarts, Shaw's, and Kroger stores still had the products on their shelves. So state and federal health officials are warning parents, throw that formula out or return it to the store. A Connecticut man is now under arrest, accused of torching a Boston police cruiser during a street takeover in the city. Police say 19-year-old David Moran is accused of using fireworks to ignite the cruiser during the October takeover. He was arrested in Norwalk, Connecticut, and will eventually face a judge in Boston. Officers say it took a lot of video evidence from nearby businesses to identify him.
You can't come to Boston and think you're going to be involved in criminal behavior and it's going to be tolerated. We will not do it. You're going to be held accountable, and this is a perfect example of people being held accountable.
2 other men from Rhode Island have also been arrested in relation to that takeover. A woman is okay after she was pushed onto the Green Line tracks at North Station. Transit police say she was pushed from behind yesterday by a man who is believed to be homeless. They are investigating. This has been a WBZ News Update. If you're watching us on CBS News Boston, we'll be back in a few minutes. Have a great day. Stay warm out there.